Good morning and welcome to the Point. It is Friday, May 14th, 2021. Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN, Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, GBN TV channel 7, 11 and 20. Good morning to the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9 and the viewers and listeners on the Party Grenada and Go to FET Facebook pages. Always a pleasure to have you. It's Open Line Friday here on To The Point, where we give you viewers and listeners an opportunity to call us or message us with anything you'd like to share, thoughts, questions, queries, concerns. The landline number is 435-2041. The WhatsApp number is also 435-2041. Please, only written messages on WhatsApp, and you can post your comments, questions, queries, concerns on the GBN, Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page and the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. Let's go to our first caller of the program. Good morning, caller.
Oh, good morning, Blossom. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good. How you do?
All right, good. Blossom, going back on the vaccine. Well, I'm thinking for the people who don't want to take the vaccine, because if those places like the hotels and other places are telling people, even supermarkets, big supermarket, and they're trying to safeguard the people who come in and so on, and they don't want to take the vaccine. I think they could allow them to just take the PCR test. If you don't want to take the vaccine, take the PCR, one or the other. You understand? They will have to pay for it. Okay? All right, Doctor, have a nice day.
Thank you. You have a nice day as well. Ensure that you take your PCR tests maybe every week. If you don't want to get vaccinated, we have to make sure that you're COVID-19 free. Okay. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Auntie Blossom, darling. How you doing, sweetheart?
Good morning, Miss Jacob. I'm good. How you do?
I'm fine. What about my mommy?
Mommy is good.
Oh, Lord. Well, I could come and take my mommy and you, one in the right hand and one in the left hand, and bring them straight in with the heart on my shoulder.
You want it strong, girl?
Yeah, man. I think you know both. By the grace of God.
Amen.
I want everybody go and take the injection, please. Because it's really doing good. This morning I go down with some exercise in our veranda day and make vehicles stand up. I say, what? Yes, Miss Jacob? Miss Jacob, I'll show you my story in there. Miss Jacob, you have in 73 years. I say, yes, I have it already. I go in 74. And the injection is good, very good. Whatever coming at you, I'm going with the 10 virgin. Right. Giving you a good on that. It had 10 virgin, right? 5 was wise and 5 was foolish. Those wise ones, though, they trim the lamp and everything and they waiting, man. Yes. I trim my lamp too and I waiting. When the lad come now and knock at the door, the 5 foolish ones go out. They go out with the doors. No, as they go out now, the lamp out. As the lamp out, they know, he asking those wise ones, can you give me some oil? They tell them, go and buy it and you go what time come back. When they come back and knocking at the door, they can't enter the door. They stay outside, say, well, are the day long enough? And this and that, blah, 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 blah. When they're telling you go and take the injection. The injection is very good. So whatever come in, the injection in your body already. You could face it. And whatever come in, who take their own? Remember, whatever come in is going to be expensive. So take it right now.
Okay.
Don't do as those foolish virgin, man. Man, are you be by yourself, right?
Okay.
The Lord be with you, sister, darling, and have a blessed day in the Lord.
You too, enjoy.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Jacob. Let me make a pass on social media, YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp. All right. Somebody on WhatsApp says, my contribution for today is that people need to be responsible pertaining to this COVID. Yes, the information coming from the government can be trusted and verified. However, there is something out there, so we need to protect ourselves and each other. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my dear. Blossom.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. How you do?
Lovely, my dear. We too, trying.
All right.
Now, let me tell you something. Darling, is not the vaccine, is the needle the people afraid. As I had just a local survey, and I could tell you, 90% of the people afraid the needle. Even the nurses, even the nurse I talk to, adult, doctor, policeman, they afraid the needle. Thank you very much, my dear.
Thank you very much. I can attest to fear of needles. My hand is up. Thank you very much. All right, back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
Good, and let me congratulate you for the continuing showroom. I think it's very instructional, very educative, and also one that people could benefit from. So continue bringing your great guests.
Thank you very much.
The last guests have been very, very good, although they're in the same field. This morning, Mr. Derriggs, and also last week.
Thank you.
So it's good. Anyway, my contribution is twofold. One is the thing about it. Unfortunately, up to now, we have not had a proper conversation on this thing of the vaccine or even the COVID, All we have had is that people showing others who they disagree. If we have a proper conversation, like for instance, right now, how do we know that the people who have taken the vaccine are not endangering those who have not taken the vaccine because they now have been able to strengthen the virus? That is to go, they could pass it on to other people. How do we know? And why should we just take what one set of authorities are saying to us when they have proven in the past to be unreliable? I remember, Blossom, and people have to make connections. A number of issues, world issues and even local issues have passed through, when they passed through was discussed on the same to the point. I remember the invasion of Iraq. When those of us were saying that the claim that the American was making in terms of the invasion of Iraq was fraudulent, there are those in Grenada who ready to even Hillary Clinton came back and said she regretted she supported the move. You see, there's not because, and then yesterday on the program, the word being used about people are loudmouth, the loudmouth people and so on. As if those who are trying to get us to take the vaccine mouth is not loud too. Why we can't have a proper conversation, let me listen to each other and understand each other, and then there's a lot of blackmail happening right now. People are going, they are sending people to workplaces and almost intimidating people to take this thing. I mean, there will come a time, just as in the past, I'll be vindicated, and those of us who said less cautious, I still urge people to listen to what Dr. Bowles said, Dr. Velva Bowles, who spoke to us in January. If they listen to a lot of this misconception will be cleared up. So that is one. The other thing about it is, yes, in relation to the vaccine. For months I've been talking about the need for us to keep up our guards. Like, for instance, when you travel on the bus, there's no sanitation, there's no mask wearing, and so on, and the jamming up on the bus. It's good that the police and the chief medical officer have said in recent times, have spoken to that, because this is the thing more important than trying to intimidate people to force to take the vaccine. Anyway, the last point I want to make is that, and I think because it came up on Gospel's program last night also, the issue of conflict resolution. We are very violent people. We watch a whole set of violent activities. We talk violence, we behave violence. The only thing that we haven't killed people, we don't kill one another to the extent that in other places. But we need to really understand that we are we are reflecting what we value. We say one thing, we go to church on Sunday, we go to church on Saturday, we talk all kind of God things, and then we are more violent than what all those things, and we have to act it out in the end.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much. All right, YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says it is difficult to comprehend how this administration influenced voters to vote for them, and they can't influence those said voters to take a vaccine that is used as a measure to ensure we have herd immunity and bring back the economy, to get money to give them free board, road work, and handouts. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning. And to also all your followers, Blossom.
Morning.
It is sad that we are at this point. And the name calling won't help. Some of the people are accusing people and calling them names. These names suit them and fit them more than the people they are accusing. So they better be careful. Yeah, that won't help. It is people are, they're free moral agents and they have to make decisions for themselves. Sometimes you can sway them, you can convince them to make a decision which otherwise they might not have made. Let me say, I took the vaccine. My entire family has been vaccinated. I should get my second shot on the 6th of June. But I made it as a personal decision because I expected that there were benefits from it. I had not seen my daughter or my granddaughters for 2 years. And I wanted to see them, and they're planning to be here. And my daughter and her husband are vaccinated. They're doctors. They're vaccinated. And I wanted us to have free exchanges when they're here. And that's why I took it, because in the interest of my family. Some people, if they are sold the benefits, as I kept saying, of taking it, they may be swayed to take it. But again, you have to look at it in the bigger picture. 1 in every million persons may have a serious negative side effect. Grenada has a population of 1/10 of a million. So you're saying now, if the population was 10 times what it is, 10 islands as Grenada put together, there is a likelihood that one person in those 10 islands put together may have a serious side effect. So that's very, very minuscule. And again, it is mainly people in a certain age group and females, I would say under 40. So these people will have to think very seriously. But let's face it, in terms of an emergency like this, and we see what's happening in Trinidad, we saw what happened in St. Lucia, in Jamaica. It's like community service. That's what I see it like. People go to the military, they go to the army, and they join the army. Do they know that there won't be a war? Many of them go not knowing if they'll ever come back. But why did they do that? In the interest of their country. That's what patriotism is. And I believe that we have to appeal to people's patriotism in that sense, that there may be a slight risk, just as a guy who goes to war. It's probably even slighter risk than the guy who goes to war. But if even I am one of the 1 million, which we do not have in Grenada, who is adversely affected by it, I am prepared to take that risk in this current situation, with all that's happening around, to help to build herd immunity in my country. And if we can approach it in that way, and don't call people names, don't call them loudmouths, don't tell them that they're making political decisions, which is not true and totally unfounded. Sell them the benefits. Let them know that if more people take the vaccination, we can probably have an internal mini carnival in the summer of people in our country who are vaccinated. We can have graduation in our schools. Our family who are coming from overseas can come and have free exchanges with us.
Okay.
If they are vaccinated and we are vaccinated. Things like that we should be doing. And I have a couple of problems I want to mention.
Very quickly, because you're out of time.
Very, very important things. Now, folks are vaccinated and they're trying to come here. And the authorities are saying to them, they cannot give them an approval, especially for home quarantine, until 48 hours before they should arrive. People need more time to make decisions. If you can't home quarantine, there's a cost implication. So you have to know if you get approval before you can even purchase your ticket. Right?
Okay.
So if you tell me, and then I have to still get a PCR just before I leave, they have to do a better job than that. Give people longer lead time. One person I called the office yesterday, and someone said, no, we have a long line. We can't deal with the people who apply early. They're applying too early. We can only give them an answer 2 days or 1 day before they are due to travel. It doesn't make sense, and these are discouraging people from taking the vaccine.
All right.
We are limiting the benefits of vaccination.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, let me go to the WhatsApp to see if there are any further comments. Somebody on WhatsApp says, the PCR testing is not an adequate replacement for a vaccine that is available. You can be PCR negative today and become positive a day or so later. In between PCR testing, if you become positive for COVID, you can spread it to others. The cat will be out of the bag by the time the PCR comes back positive. You make a valid point, but it is the alternative to getting vaccinated. There are people who do not want to get vaccinated. So the alternative to ensure that you are negative and can't spread it is to ask you to take PCR tests regularly. It could be every other day and you have to pay for it. $400 every other day can be a discouragement for somebody and an encouragement to take the vaccine. Think about it that way. So it's either you get vaccinated or you pay to take a PCR test every other day. If that's the alternative people want to consider, then so be it. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom. Do you have a specific topic?
No, it's open line.
Okay. I hope these 2 days would have given the young man that was involved in the stabbing incident enough time to reflect and learn in a positive manner and avoid these things in the future because, it's causing both families a lot of pain. You have one in the general, and the parents have to be running to the police. And I hope those on the outside will learn. Plus, I also want to compliment the NDC for taking the initiative. I've heard a jingle this morning on another radio station that sounds good, encouraging people to take the vaccine and to use your local fruits to boost your immune system, and this is good. Too often we hear that, that they're not doing anything, and I believe they need to be complimented. Have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You enjoy your day as well. Somebody on Facebook says, we are stubborn people. We are skeptical about new things. Another Facebooker says, morning, I just want to remind listeners and viewers that Trinidad and Tobago yesterday recorded 21 COVID-19 related deaths. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom. I wanted to take this opportunity in your open line to submit a proposal regarding the 4% impasse. I know you, or at least the folks are concentrating on other matters, but I had these thoughts last night, and I wanted to share it with you. And I believe it's a solution to the 4% issue.
Sure.
Because the continued industrial climate has been really allowed to continue for much, much too long. And therefore it's hurting and damaging the climate of tranquility, harmony, and goodwill in Grenada. Our Prime Minister needs to ask his God to soften his heart, temper his hardness, to ask his Creator to give him humility and to temper his appetite for always wanting to win. Now, this matter is causing serious damages to the lives of young people, families, and individuals. The PM needs to understand that his legacy is now. Time is now. Today is your life, it's your legacy, and your leadership. He needs to be more flexible and adaptable and understanding for the peace and stability of the nation's children, their parents, and those who are charged with preparing and molding the minds of the next generation. So here is my proposal, that A roundtable meeting of the mines resume early next week between the unions and the government. That government and the unions agree to a settlement as follows. 1, a 2% payment be made at the end of June in cash. The other 2% value be rolled over and into a 2-year accumulative period of shares per person in Grenlec, to which government will release appropriate shares so as to satisfy the values for that 24-month period per person. Grenlec is now a public company, then let it be so. In other words, if an individual has to get $50 increase, which represents his 2%, let's say, government must agree and the unions must agree that that will be converted into an accumulative sum over a 24-month period, and appropriate shares must be issued to them. That will create an almost compulsory saving and investment stock to public servants, something that has never been done in Grenada before. We need to encourage our people to save and to invest in progressive companies that have shown over the years that they have the ability to make serious profits, so that they can have something longevity. Their children will have these shares and stocks for a long, long time to come. They have done without it before, and therefore the unions must agree that this is a good initiative for public servants to at least have something where they can earn dividends every quarter or midterm or end of year. Now, and those shares or stock option should also take effect from the same end of June. So although it will be accumulative, when they get their 2% at the end of June, I'm suggesting that the accumulative 24-month shares should also take effect from the end of June.
Okay.
So the dividend earnings could accrue and by the end of the year. Now, also, if that proposal is accepted, then the GUT in particular must also agree to the demands that they made for the 9-day payment, which was docked in 2019, be also converted into shares. So they wouldn't be getting cash, they'd be getting shares in Grenlec. Now, this compromise hopefully should resolve this impasse. And I think this is probably the simplest and easiest way out. Government would not have to put out that extra 2% in cash. They already hold the majority of stocks, shares in Grenlec. Let them release some, give it to the workers. The workers earn dividends and get this matter resolved. This is holding back the progress of the country.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Forrester. On that note, let us take a break. And then we're going to come back. As a matter of fact, let me just read this comment off of Mr. Forrester's comment. Somebody on Facebook says, the Prime Minister should pay the 4% man. The money can't done, and if it finish, more will come. Good suggestion from Mr. Forrester. Let me see if there's anybody on WhatsApp responding. Nobody's responding on WhatsApp. Okay, so let's take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with some more open line here on To The Point. We'll be right back.
Do you hear what I hear? Listen to the ocean, and you will hear a cry for help. The ocean is hurting, and we are the source of the hurt. But we can stop and start to heal our ocean by preventing pollution from getting into our waterways. It can start with you. Join an active organization, or better yet, make a personal commitment. Commit not for just one day in the year, but for the rest of your life. Let's dispose of our plastic and other waste responsibly, and let's start building resilience. Let the healing begin.
This message is brought to you by the OECS Commission with funding from the Government of Norway. Remlit, tackling ocean pollution from turf to surf.
No, That's not how you cross the pedestrian crossing.
Really? One day I just woke up and I saw pedestrian crosswalks on the road. No one really showed me how to use them properly.
Well, this is how it's done. You never cross before doing these things. They might save your life. First, when you get to the crosswalk, you stop. You look left, you look right. If there's a vehicle coming, you put your hand out, making eye contact with the driver, indicating that you want to cross. And only when the vehicle comes to a complete stop, you quickly cross to the other side.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact. Wait for pedestrian to cross to the other side, then you happily continue on your journey. This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Granddaughter.
Welcome back to Open Line Friday here on To The Point. The landline number once again is 435-2041. That's landline. That's also WhatsApp. Only written messages on WhatsApp. And continue to post your comments, questions, queries, concerns on Facebook and YouTube. Right back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm very much concerned about how we are thinking in Grenada. Government, I'm always saying that, have the responsibility to educate the people, but not to educate them on the negative side of the virus. Now, if you want to tell people that, let's say, a small percentage of people are taking the vaccination and they are frontline workers, what are you telling them? If they know, they are taking it and they should know the right, and they are not taking it, you tell me that I shouldn't take it too. So when you're educating people, you educate them on the positive, not on the negative, although you might have to touch on the negative education too. Now, as far as I'm concerned, some of the people in the health areas do not know how to get people to abide with them and take the vaccination. In fact, also too, you have to get people who could persuade people, not people you cannot even hear the pronunciation of what they are saying. So you have to get the right type of people, the right set of people to get the information out to the public. And as far as I'm concerned, you have to get people to educate them, so you have to go around with loudspeakers and possible make the vaccination easy access to people all over the country. Why not hire a few doctors and put them with where they're giving the vaccination and in different places in the country? In fact, why do we have to order maybe 50,000 vaccination at one time? And you know we have roughly about 110,000 people. So you are wasting the gift. Now, if the vaccination expires at a certain time, I do not know. Do you think I would take mine now when I know perhaps I can't get the second dose? No, that's poor reasoning. We should have taken the amount of vaccination, what we imagine, the number, that we could possibly use within a certain time. In fact, if we lose this amount, then if I were to give vaccination, it's hardly likely that I would give more vaccination because we are not using it. In other words, when I say the people who donate it, and I have already said, freeness is a hell of a thing. We take more than what we want and we spoil the rest. Even if people want food and you give food free, They may take all the potatoes and they do not have use for it, and all the potatoes spoil. Maybe it's the same thing that happened to Grenada, because I don't think it would be easy to get vaccination, more vaccination, if we allow these vaccination to spoil. In fact, I'm asking myself, the vaccination need a certain temperature. Why not go out with the vaccination to the creeks and corners? Well, maybe put it in where the condition under which it's shooting, and give vaccination in all areas. Get some nurses. I mean, I don't know if you might be able to give injection, as they would call it, because it's just to shove a needle, but you should have to know where to shove it and how hard to shove it.
Okay.
So this is what they have to do. Spread the vaccination all over the country. The more you educate people, especially those who are not willing to learn,
all right,
the more they get to me, they resist you because they cannot see further than their nose. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Health authorities have been spreading the vaccination drive island-wide. There have been clinics set up in different parishes. All health centers are able to administer the vaccines. In fact, there's a pop-up clinic in St. Mark today. I believe it starts at 1 p.m., but there's a pop-up clinic in St. Mark today. There were a few in Grenville a few weeks ago, maybe last week or a week before, so they have been doing pop-ups island-wide. Let me go to Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, what compromise this administration make? Pay the 4% and stop this nonsense? No. Let me go to WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, hold on. Somebody on WhatsApp says, dead is dead. Whether you die by the vaccine or the coronavirus, you are dead. Wisdom says, if you try to save your life, you will lose it. But if you lose your life for God's sake, you will gain it. I am sure if you give some money for people to take the vaccine, a lot of them will take it. We love money more than wisdom. Some countries are having given incentives, financial incentives to take the vaccine. There is one giving, how much was it, boy? A lot of money and a lot of thousands to get vaccinated. Somebody else on WhatsApp, please, no calls on WhatsApp, only written messages on WhatsApp. If you want to make a call, you'll have to call the landline. Somebody on WhatsApp says it's time for the Minister of Health to make a national announcement that he is importing COVID, so take the vaccine or not. Okay. Good morning, caller. Oh, lost. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
For Grenadians to admit, for them to say that they are not encouraged to take the vaccine is saying that they want the government authorities to go around the villages on their knees and crawl and beg and say, come and take it. Because you see this flashing so often. Even you, Blossom, in recent times have been doing a tremendous job. I listened to you, was it yesterday or the day before, with a guy from America, and other persons as well. And you look at other programs. I mean, maybe people looking at the wrong things. And there is so much encouragement around to have the vaccination. It's just that we Grenadians, we want someone to go around on our knees and beg, say, come and take it, beg. And as a person just say, maybe offer some cash. Then everybody will come and the lives will be overflowing, you know. But to say that a job is not being done to educate people and to encourage people, I don't think that's a fair statement at all. I don't think so. And there's another thing that I saw somebody sent me a WhatsApp with an interview with a gentleman. I don't know which part of the world he's from, but I think that he was on with a radio station from Carriacou. And I don't know if you saw it or heard it, but I looked at it last night on WhatsApp. And when you listen to it, I mean, honestly, that is enough. If you're not well grounded or you believe in what the scientists say, when you listen to this gentleman, you would just say, look, I ain't taking no vaccine. So what are we listening to? That's the thing. Okay.
Thank you very much, caller. Let me go on WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, where can I get the COVID-19 vaccine today? Today there is a pop-up clinic at the St. Mark Medical Center. Let me double check the timing for you, as well as the mass vaccination center at the National or the Karani James Athletic Stadium. It is still up and running. So that is another place that you can get the vaccine, get vaccinated, as well as St. Mark. I haven't seen a list for this week as to the other vaccination centers. But that's the two that I know off the top of my head. In St. Mark, it's from 1 p.m. Okay. The Victoria Medical Center in St. Mark. Let me see. Right. So it's at Karani James Athletic Stadium, health centers, which you have to make appointments for, as well as a pop-up clinic at the Victoria Medical Center for those of you who want to get vaccinated today. All right, let me go to another WhatsApper. Somebody on WhatsApp says, Superintendent Kerwin, as usual, said they will beef up on people breaking protocols, people not wearing masks, crowds, etc. But right in town, the police watching people and do nothing. Right on the hot spot area, yes, the notorious area in town, day and night, right now, loud music, rum drinkers, weed smokers, obscene language, no police. Yet they take away a man's musical equipment, a good citizen, but leaving those lawbreakers to do as they please. No liquor license, no toilet facilities, no food license. So Superintendent Kerwin, everyone needs to be treated the same. Too much biasness in this place. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right, my take on the vaccine, right? What I really want to know, you go forward, you take your first dose, your second dose. Does that protect you from the virus? 2, we're gone a year now since the COVID. It's true, our neighboring island, Trinidad, we go as far as India to hear what's going on. What you breathe in your mask, I'm speaking for myself, that's what you breathe out. Right?
Okay.
If you are healthy, right, and you have other issues, continue eating healthy, as we all know. Number 1, I've been taught again, is airborne. Airborne, NB, note well. That again is a concern when I hear in airborne. Jump high, jump low. We here in Grenada, I'm speaking for myself, freedom of speech. I just find some of us must respect one opinion. That's the way to go forward. The virus will come, it will go. Number 1, how can we tell, for example, since the vaccine arrived, people who went forward, if there was any death out of it, how can we go forward with that? It could have death that won't reach the news unless that family member really want to say he or she did not have no high blood pressure, no sugar, no underlying condition, but maybe they don't have money, maybe to go forward to do autopsy to find out the cause of death. But this is the kind of thing we need to educate the people on. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, caller. Taking a vaccine protects you from getting seriously ill and or dying. There have been media reports of deaths following the administration or the administering of the vaccine, so it's not that it's not being reported. There have been such reports. Have been such reports. Good morning, caller.
Oh yes, good morning to you.
Morning.
Have a good day.
You too.
Now I want to support this caller to some extent because I think she's right. You know, this virus is confusing even the experts. Now you're hearing this airborne. We discussed this matter a long time ago in the beginning. I suggested airborne, right? No, and people was arguing, no, it's just from person to person. No, DC is saying the same thing. These droplets are remaining in the and traveling in the air, and so it's also airborne. So we are not stupid people who having some concern. I think we not blowing this thing out of proportion. We really realize it is dangerous, but you don't know the condition, the underlying condition of the people who are dying. But you see this thing about rights. We all have rights. If you want to take the vaccine, you take the vaccine. But who doesn't want to take the vaccine? then it is their decision. Why are we making a big fuss over this and trying to force people and to push people when we're hearing so much things about this vaccine from the export overseas? We're hearing a lot of things. We're listening news and we're hearing. But yet you want to push us to take it. If we want to take it, yes, we take it. If we don't want to take it, just leave us alone. Simple. We're not supposed to make a war over this thing. We hear it's dangerous, we see that we understand it's dangerous, but we don't know much about this virus. And I don't want to be that one from the million. Nobody wants to be that first person from the million. Everybody have to protect themselves. You don't know if you're going to take it and you're going to fall down. You may take it and you survive, and another man take it and he dies. So if he did not take it, he would not die. But he don't know. So that concern that people have. So we shouldn't be pushing people to do those things. And you push me to take it, go and take it and I fall down. Who's responsible? We have to stop this war over this thing. Have a great day, ma'am.
Thank you very much. You enjoy your day as well. Let me go back on Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, that's the problem. Stop. Officials are not telling people there are deaths, and 2 women in America have been paralyzed. I personally know of 3 people who died, even though it seems to be helping. They say so it's only a few people dying. It's still somebody's child, father, mother, etc. And they still don't know what will be in the future. Trial and error. A few comments on WhatsApp. Let me go to WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, this 4% issue is a conflict that's brewing, and we're talking about the young people and conflict resolution. It must start with those at the top. Another WhatsApper says, wonder who he wants to talk to when all who should talk already. Why not ask both sides to soften their hearts? That's in response to a previous caller. I think it was Mr. Bernard. Another WhatsApper says it is about everyone. That is why it is called public health. So you pay for your COVID test, but who will pay for the contact tracing, tracking of the people you potentially exposed at the place of business where you worked, as well as the people who traveled on buses with you? In the absence of a vaccine, that PCR would have been an alternative, but now we have vaccines. Another WhatsApper, how about vaccination takes place at the places of worship? So after church, the nurses are there to administer the vaccine. And also the priest and pastors should explain to their congregation the benefit of being vaccinated. All right, somebody sent me a voice note on WhatsApp. No voice notes, only written messages. Type. Take your time and type out whatever you put in the voice note. I can't play voice notes. Another WhatsApper says, experts still that this vaccine is still in clinical trials and only have a 70% approval efficacy. So all this is cause for concern. I'm trying to remember the statement on clinical trials. It's past the trial stage. Isn't it? Good morning, caller.
Morning, Blossom. How are you?
Morning, I'm good. How you do?
Blessed and highly favored.
Amen.
I know Mr. Vanny Cohen making things about the mask, but what I'm saying is that the solid waste people is so, they're not wearing mask at all. For what reason? I don't know. But these sort of people should be the first set of people that should be wearing the mask. You know, and if you go on the western side, you notice nobody, especially Victoria, they say they have no COVID, so they ain't wearing no mask. You know, a lot of things has been happening with this mask, Blossom. The person that sent you this WhatsApp, they is so true, and I'm not going to comment on it because it is so true. Everybody just doing their thing, doing their do, you know, and I wish they could get their act together before they start to make all these rules and regulation, put things in place, so when you come out with a bang. Because I understand the Grenville police, you can't board the bus if you don't have a mask. They make sure that everybody have the mask. And in town here, all school children, not some, all, no mask. What is happening? You have a blessed day, sweetie.
Thank you. You enjoy your day as well. YouTube. Somebody on YouTube says the fact that they don't know how long the effect should last should be enough to tell you that it is still in an experimental stage. Facebook. Good morning to all who want to take it. God bless you. I will not be taking it. Money or no money, people must make their own decisions. Another Facebooker says taking vaccine is a personal choice. WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, why are Grenadians and the Caribbean behaving as if only them taking a vaccine? Over 20 million people in the UK have taken the AstraZeneca vaccine with minimum effect. Up to date, research has shown thousands of people have avoided hospitalizations and many lives have been saved due to the vaccines, including the AstraZeneca. It's embarrassing listening to the comments coming from my people in the state of Grenada. It is so backward. If a third wave of COVID hits Grenada, a lot of ignorant people will die. Landline. No. Back on WhatsApp. Somebody says, I want to zero in on Carriacou and PG Martinique. First, I want to thank Minister Stewart for fulfilling one of the big promises she made concerning the sick people lying on the floor to Grenada. But my main point is about the burning issue with the Hillsborough port and the extra cost it has been used bearing on the community, the extra cost it bears on the community and the people from PT Martinique. I am once again calling on GBN to invite the businessmen with Minister Stewart to discuss that issue, and will continue to press for beyond the headlines to have them on. The request will be made again. Good morning, caller.
Mrs. Welsh.
Morning.
Morning. Listen, I listened to the news. I listened to the news. A Brazilian woman, a pregnant woman, she took the vaccine and she died shortly with a stroke,
Okay.
And they restrict all pregnant women from Brazil not to take the vaccine.
Well, I've seen a report saying that they've done tests and it is safe for pregnant women to take the vaccine just this week, actually.
That was on the news before. They said that they would restrict it after the woman take the vaccine and she died. A pregnant woman. She died shortly after.
Okay, and I've also seen reports saying that it's safe for pregnant women. So I guess it's like everything else. Take it, don't take it. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I guess like everything else, everybody's being cautious. It's up to you if you want to take it or not. I think it's this week that I saw that following tests, they determined that it is safe for pregnant women to take. So each country, even in the beginning, besides pregnant people, each country made their own determination based on the happenings in their individual countries. So I guess if Brazil has put those measures in place, they have their reasons. The health officials have said so as well. Minister Steele as well as CMO Dr. Charles have said so. Each country uses their own situations to determine the use of the vaccines. So I guess that's why Brazil, if that is the report is indeed true, I guess that's why Brazil put the pause on pregnant women taking the vaccine. But there have been other places where they say that it is safe for them to take it. So it's like everything else, depending on the situation. WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, Mr. Forrester's proposal for 4% is excellent. I will go further and suggest the full 4% plus 1% for interest, all converted to Grenlec shares. Oh yes, I meant to ask, what if there are public officers who do not want Grenlec shares? I think everybody wants, but what if there are people who do not want Grenlec shares? It would have to be a consensus. Somebody else on WhatsApp says, Mr. Forrester has been coming up with some very good suggestions on matters of national importance. My question is that a new ability he has acquired, or was he always sharing his ideas with his former party? Continue your very good suggestions. Let me see if I see any more responses to Mr. Forrester before I move on. Right. This one says, it's amazing listening to Mr. Forrester, the new convert. He now becomes a judge and a proponent because for the first time for workers' rights and justice. Of course, what he said may sound euphonious, with a hope to my mind that they would enhance his political career or reputation. I could only hope that it came from his heart and not merely for political expediency. All right, let me go by the landline. All right. I'll come into that pregnant woman comment just now. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom. How are you doing?
I'm good. How you do?
Good. And good morning to the listening public.
All right, go ahead. Thanks.
I have something on my mind, Blossom.
Tell me.
Concerning the COVID, with the vaccine. I saw an article in the Grenada today stating that the nurses were the doctor in the medical field. Yeah. His name is Dr. Sean Charles, I think, where he's stating that nurses and doctors are refusing to take the vaccine. I don't know if you read it or you saw it.
Yes, he also made that statement here on one of the programs, the CMO.
Right. So if nurses and doctors are refusing to take that vaccine, what do you leave for the local people on the street that have no knowledge or education when it comes to medical and vaccine? What do you leave first? Huh? And I also read, that the hotels, some hotels, certain hotels, and the SU especially, St. George's University, they make it mandatory for workers, staff, drivers there to take the vaccine. Who give them the right to do that? So, Blossom, if I'm not a smoker, I don't smoke weed. You telling me I must try it, I must smoke weed for my system, to put in my system, you think it's right? Think about it. And a lot of people just sit by, idly by, and they don't comfortable with that. But because of the job and they want the money, they go and they take this thing in the system. But everyone do not want this. And again, do the vaccine prevent you from getting COVID? From what you read, Blossom, do it prevent you from getting the COVID?
No, it prevents you from dying.
So, how much percent is the Seneca accurate?
The efficacy, I think, is 79%.
Yeah, I see 68% when I read the paper or the man article. But I think they should let people move on their own time to take you cannot force people to do what they don't want to do. And a lot of people is unhappy about the situation. Because come August, they want to go to school, they have to go to work down there, and you're telling people that they must. Who give this university official the right? And the Prime Minister come in and tell you, they have right, I have right. Huh? So he is the one governing the country.
Okay.
So he should decide on that. Not private sector having the say and telling you must take. This is outer harder, man, in Grenada here. I don't know what to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, he's the Prime Minister of the country, but at the same time, they are called private sector establishments for a reason. Private sector businesses, they have, I don't want to say own rules, but their own rules. And SGU is one of those private sector, I don't want to say companies, but governed by their own rules and not government rules. For instance, government would not be able to tell public officers that it is mandatory that they get the vaccine because it is public workers. SGU, a GBN, a private company, Blossoms Restaurant and Bar, is different because they're privately owned. So I would determine how I want to run my own company. That's the difference. Okay, I am out of time. Let me see if I can read one comment from each platform. Let me start on YouTube. YouTuber says, a lot of comments on YouTube. Let me start from the top. A YouTuber says, vaccinate those who need to be vaccinated, make provisions in hospitals for the few that may come down with it, and let the rest of us move on with our lives. AstraZeneca has double the amount of adverse side effects on all levels. AstraZeneca is not recommended for people under 40 to 50. In different countries, the age group differs. All right. Facebook. A comment on Facebook. Close my eyes. Right. The problem is not the vaccine or the government. The problem and fear of taking the vaccine is the WHO and PAHO, the way in which or how they disseminate the information on the vaccine. So don't blame the people, blame PAHO and WHO. And final comment that I can read on WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, religious leaders have failed Grenada. They should have convinced their flock of the benefits of science to mankind. Instead, they preach biblical stories made up by Stone Age people. Thank you very much. I'm in two minds about the religious leaders because it depends on what they believe as well. There are some just like ordinary citizens that believe they don't want to take the vaccine. There are religious leaders that possibly believe the same, which is not because they're reading from the Bible or preaching from the Bible, but it's because of their own beliefs. So I don't want to tell you to get vaccinated, and I don't believe it myself. So I'm in two minds about the religious leaders not encouraging their congregations. Okay, that's the end of Open Line Friday for today. Thank you so much for participating. Okay, there is a note. There's a note on the WhatsApp. Somebody says vaccines are being given at the Guav Health Center today. No appointment needed. Just walk in. Nurses attached to the Western District are administering. So those of you on the western side of the island, a pop-up clinic in the Victoria Health Center from 1 p.m., as well as vaccines being given at the Guav Health Center today. No appointment needed. So those of you on the western side of the island, or if you can make it over there and you want to get vaccinated, keep that in mind. Victoria Health Center, Guav Health Center today. All right, that's the end of the program. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you for tuning in, viewers and listeners. Always appreciate it. And that's the end of my time today. I'm making way for Mid-Morning Buzz. I'll be back tomorrow morning, God willing, for Soca Saturday. Keep safe. Have yourself a God bless, fantalocious, sploocious, fabulous Friday. Bye-bye, everybody.
Are you a small business and would like your business to grow? Do you have an event, products or services that people should know about? Be wise. Advertise. Book your spot on GBN Shopping Guide. Be part of Grenada's biggest advertising medium, the Grenada Broadcasting Network. Call our sales department now on 440-2446 or 440-3033 or GBN plus the number sign. Email us at sales@gbn.gd. Special conditions apply.
It is important to know what your road signs and markings means. The zigzag lines means you should not park in the marked area. Parking is allowed inside the solid white lines on the edge of the road. Remember, look out for pedestrians. Pedestrians, be sure the vehicle comes to a complete stop before crossing. These tips can save your life. These tips can make our roads safer for all users. Be safe, be seen, be smart. A message from the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force.
This is a plastic bag. From February 1st, these bags are not to be used when shopping for food.